What is this? When I point out this, what do I mean? What is the vibe do I say this in public spaces? Is this the sign, object, area, or location? The final question is, how does the use of demonstrative pronouns in the public space construct contemporary mode of communication? Demonstrative pronouns are the pronouns that point to specific things, this, that, these, and those. The same words are used as demonstrative adjective when they modify nouns or pronouns. For example, this apple, those boys. In the project, I want to explore the possibilities created by the varying language in graphic expression. In this case, I extracted 3 lines of inquiry. First, what is the difference between printing language and natural language of demonstrative pronouns in public spaces? How it backfires on communication? Printing language is more associated with the image in public space than spoken language. While this connection brings a more concrete descriptiveness, it also brings a contradiction between the particular and universal among objects. As a comparative case, the most similar language to be used in public space is speech. Accordingly, I captured 3 recent Prime Minister's speeches by Boris for comparison.
This Parliament. This will agree with me in this pandemic, this timetable, this disease, stress this disease, this program.
The bad thing about this serves as a determiner. Other features such as references to the previous text avoid repetition of the words. Usually, they are read very lightly. Some of them refer to conventional languages such as diseases instead of COVID. Let's back to the printing. As we can see, many of the use point to a similar situation. With an inquisitive mind and picky eye as a designer, I wandering around the city of London searched the linguistic use of this. Observing and gathering commonly used demonstrative pronouns. What I noticed in most of the use of design are written in an authoritative tone, with a clear direction and intention. Another inspiration is from human direction advertising, which is a creative concept involving a person who is holding a varying sign. How does the directional of language differ from the body in such a instruction? Critiquing the approach so far, it's nice to find commonalities in the use of language. I continue to ask how language can be authoritative, how language can be opposite, how language can be exclusive, how authority is structured and designed in public space, how the instruction is shared. The second line is how are the linguistic features of demonstrative pronouns expressed in public communication? How do these features in turn counteract communication? With the reference of Hashem, Tina, and Nora, and many others, I could see some of the reflection through other shoulder.
Hello. Do you speak English?
The Hashem discussed the language as a system of power. Tina caught and break the constant to reveal a language score.
Cleaning started with water. Its evolution brought soap.
Nora makes meaning dissipate through an infinite number of linguistic stimuli, and language become more of a sensory stimulus than the meaning of the address. Also, I read a book written by Saussure, The Course in General Linguistics, which provide a philosophical and linguistic understanding of communication styles and language structure. The use of demonstrative pronouns is mainly shaped by 5 key factors when looking at a word's language. Number, which refers to one thing or more than one thing. The proximity, near or far. The gender, the masculine or feminine. Particularity, is the general or special. Subjectivity, referred to the speaker and listener. In another kind of language that cannot be ignored, sign language, the direction of the gesture, the use of the fingers and posture of the body combine to determine the meaning of the word. In the total 28 cases that I found, based on the viewpoint of the audience in face-to-face conversation, 12 signs point downward, 7 forward, 6 leftward, and 3 rightward. Inspired by this, I took a series of photographs of the pointing hand in the range of the postures and asked my friends to help me rank the meaning of the expressions, resulting in this synthetics, which is in line with the general use sign language. The last point, How does the form of presenting transform language, image, and meaning? In this question, I have to join the discussion of the relationship between the object and image and the word by conceptual artists. There are no absolute representative of different forms of expression. I was given clear frame of the mind by the way of looking at the book graphic design in urban environment. Thus, I conducted a visual experiment. On the one hand, I play with the sign in the street, test the language as the word change. The rule is that I turn all of this into this into that, and announce without concrete mentions plus demonstration. On the other hand, I place stickers on objects themselves to examine the interaction between language and the authentic environment and to ask about the scale of linguistic expression in relation to the real world. How do we see, understand, and describe the world? The next step will focus more on the conflicting relationship between the subjectivity of language and the ambiguity of interpretation, expressing the symbolic relationship between the authoritative language and the audience in public space, the fluid relationship between the signifier and signified, leading to the vary of language. I am more inclined to express my concept in the form of performance.